Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, miscreants and thieves, curmudgeons, scoundrels, rapscallions, my people. I am Mike Shaner. This is Sedition. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2021. Hope everyone is feeling free and prosperous and happy today. I'm still a little under the weather. But, man, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support you've been giving me. It means a lot. So, a lot on my mind today. Hope you guys find it interesting. I've been telling you I'm going to explain to you how government transformed the healthcare industry into an insurance scam. I'm not going to get all that in today, I don't think, but I'm going to give you the bones of it, and then maybe we can put it all together into Frankenstein's monster tomorrow. I want to talk a little bit about the elections last night. That's fun. It's always fun whenever it sucks. I mean, pulling for a Republican, it's like wanting to get this tooth yanked out instead of this tooth yanked out, you know. But it's always fun to piss off the establishment, whatever. They always read it wrong, though, you know. They always read it. Both sides read it wrong. One side, it's funny how they do that. Yesterday we talked about the roads and how that's an important thing. The more I think about it, like, and you can find that article, and I didn't tell you yesterday. You can, and I was joking when I said you guys didn't like to read. Libertarians are the smartest audience. Everybody knows that. That's why we're libertarians. But you can find the article in a lot of places. That article's actually been syndicated. But you can find it on thelibertarianrepublic.com. You can find it at my Substack, theseditionpapers.substack.com. You can find it at thesouthsidedragon.com. It's worth reading. The history of the roads. It's fascinating. Carl Fisher was an amazing man, and that was an amazing time. It still blows my mind to believe that people think that we have to have government to travel, to go down the road. It's so crazy. It wasn't that long ago, but it was even a shorter period of time ago when healthcare. Say, I've got to take a look at my notes here. In 1940. According to an article in Forbes magazine, I'll have an article up on this in the next few days with the link to all the relevant statistics and sites. So, but according to this article in Forbes magazine, in 1940, house calls made up 40% of all interactions between doctors and patients, and that costed $2. I think it's something like $17 in today's money. And if you wanted to save some money, you could go visit the doctor at his office. It'd be $1.25. Medical school, including books and board and room, cost about $520 to get a medical degree. $8,200 in today's money. In Los Angeles, you could stay at a hospital for as little as $4 a day, roughly $75 a day in today's money. That included nursing care and meals. I don't know if I'm having an issue. I may be having a technical issue here. If I do, I'll start over. If anyone's out there, if you can tell me if you can see the live stream, I would appreciate this. Bear with me, guys. I'm getting this straightened out. Alright, I think we're all good now. Sorry about that. So, Don't know where I was. I know I was telling you could stay at the doctor for nothing. So for as little as $4 a day, or roughly $75 in today's money, that included nursing care and meals. Um, a surgery in the same hospital, $17.50. That's for major surgery. $326 in today's money. If you had a minor procedure, if you need your appendix out or something, $7.50, or roughly $112 in today's money. A woman could have a baby delivered and recover with the newborn in the maternity ward with nursing care, with meals, for 10 days for $40. $744 in today's money. Man, for what it costs to have a baby today, you can have major surgery. Back then, you could have a major surgery. You can have the doctor come over and visit you at the house every day of the month. You can stay at the hospital for a month. You can have 10 babies. And a major surgery. And house calls every day for a month, or many months. For what it would cost to have one surgery, one baby, hell, one doctor's visit today. So why? What happened? How did we go from? So back then, healthcare was about health. It was about curing illness. It was about relationships. It was about a doctor-patient relationship. Somehow, general practitioners have still become they're still fairly decent people. It's still good people that become doctors, I think. And I'm not really sure how that worked out, but because you would think that it would change and be corruption. But I took my granddad to the doctor today, and I love his doctor so much. He's an old country doctor, and they get along. I don't. Anyway, and as I was at the doctor with him, I was sitting there in the office. I was thinking about what this interaction would have been like in 1940, and he had to do some unnecessary things today. And my granddad wasn't feeling good, and obviously he was at the doctor, and he had to. He can't really walk today. I don't know why. He hasn't been eating. So, but without getting into all the personal details, the doctor wanted to do an X-ray of his chest for no reason other than it's sort of insurance required it. These several things that insurance required that I just had to say no. I said we can't do it today. He's not up for it. So, and the doc, he understood, then we won't do it. But he wanted to bill for it, obviously. I mean, he wanted to do those things, but he also, the insurance wants it done. So, how did we get to that? How did we get to where, like, the doctor knew that my granddad didn't need that chest X-ray today, and I knew it, and I'm not a doctor, but he was going to give it to him anyway, so he could get the money for it. I don't blame him for that, but also so that he could just bill for the visit based on the things that are there. The insurance company's making the decision about what needs to be done. So that doctor's visit, that really, this is what today's doctor visit should have been worth, $20-$30. And in 1940, it would have been about a $20-$30 cash transaction in today's money, and a $2 transaction in that money, Because the doctor would have said, okay, Mr. Shaner, this is what's going on. I know you've got these issues, and here's what I'm going to give you for it. Take me about 20 minutes, give me $20, let's have a good day. Why did it change? Why is the insurance company making the decisions? Why did that $20-$30 worth of healthcare advice that my granddad got today, why is that going to be billed for several $100s? Why is the insurance going to pay several $100s for that? Why are you subsidizing that insurance? Why are you having to pay a higher premium? Because that's what I was thinking about earlier when I was saying, okay, how much did you pay on in health insurance last year? What do you pay? $300 a month, $400 a month, let's say $500 a month for your family. And if that's $5,000 a year, $6,000 a year actually, but let's say $400 and call it $4,800 a year. You could have had 7 babies in 1940. equivalent money. Why? How did it get to that? In 1942, Mr. Roosevelt gonna save us all, and he signed the Wage Stabilization Act, the Stabilization Acts of 1942, where he put a ceiling on wages. You see, progressives have always known that villainizing the rich is a way to rally the poor. That villainizing the black man is a way to rally the white man. That villainizing the white man today is a way to rally the black man. They've always known that to rally one, you villainize the other. This attack on the rich, this wage discrimination, this wage discrepancy, it's not a new attack. It's something that people like to make you think it's new, but they've always attacked. So anyway, private business in 1942. So prior to 1942, health insurance was sort of a fringe benefit. It was something that you could, what can you equate it to today? Dental insurance maybe, although that's becoming a lot more standard. You know, some life insurance company provided life insurance, like sort of a nice perk if you get it, but not anything anybody cares about. Like I never needed life insurance. I probably have a couple of policies from different companies over the years, but most companies I worked for didn't provide insurance, and I never cared. It was never something that was going to make me go to one job or leave another. It's just sort of a fringe benefit, right? And that's what health insurance was in 1940. And mostly it was only like mining companies, the railroad companies, places where you lived on, like you lived in camps, timber camps, mining camps, logging camps. They had a form of health insurance, mostly so you could see the company doctor. And that's really all it was, because health insurance wasn't a big expense. You know, you didn't, it just wasn't anything. Well, when FDR signed the Stabilization Acts, and he put a cap on wage controls, companies had to figure out a way to hire talent. And they couldn't do it with money, so they started doing it with benefits. And the main benefit became health insurance. So in 1941, health insurance was meant to cover that $17.50 major surgery, maybe delivering a baby, maybe breaking a leg, you know, something that a big unforeseen, not a $2 doctor visit. And so back then in 1941, you would go to the doctor, and a lot of times you wouldn't even pay cash. You'd pay with a chicken or basket of eggs or whatever. You know, it's whatever the doctor, you know, what you had. And the doctors, you sort of work these things out amongst yourselves, and that's how government took over the healthcare industry. They didn't take it over in 2010 with Obamacare. There had been so many regulations in 2010. By 2010, that what we used to know about healthcare, when it used to be a free market, that hasn't been a free market in 70 years. And so over time, just that became the norm, and pretty soon everybody was providing health insurance, and you no longer paid to go to the doctor. It became cheap. And people still think going to the doctor, because they pay, it comes out of their paycheck every month, like income tax comes out of their paycheck every week. They still think it's not that huge of an expense, unless it's catastrophic, or they're trying to sell a bill on TV where nobody declares bankruptcy. If you declare bankruptcy over medical bills, by the way, you're an idiot. Don't ever do that. Medical bills don't ruin anybody's lives. They don't garnish you. They don't take you. They don't even really hurt your credit after so long. People don't care about medical bills. So don't ruin your life. Don't declare bankruptcy if you have a bunch of medical bills. That's all a big boogeyman. Don't do that. But you have to have health insurance. You can't, if you get cancer, if you have a heart attack, you can't pay for health care now. You can't. You know, it's not $17.50. It's not $325 in today's money. And it got that way because you pay for it whether you need it or not. You pay for it every week or month whenever you get your paycheck when they deduct it. And like I pay for yours because I'm sick, but I ain't go to the doctor for this flu. I know I had the flu. I don't go to the doctor. I had to go to the doctor this year and get my gallbladder taken out. Many years ago, I fell off a bull. I had to go get my knee fixed. I got a broken collarbone. I had to, that's a few times, but I don't go to the doctor as a rule. So if I have health insurance and I pay for that health insurance, I'm paying for people who do get sick and who that's how it works. I subsidize you. When I get old, maybe you'll subsidize me, like Social Security. But it'd be a lot better if instead of paying $400, $500, $600 a month, instead of paying $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year for health insurance that you don't need, if I could just pay $2, if I could just pay $20 in today's money to go see the doctor. But that was it. That's it. And this is what's funny now. They say the old cliche is about a government solution to a government caused problem, and most people don't know that the government caused the problem of health. Like in a free market, healthcare is cheap. A doctor-patient relationship is relatively cheap. Ron Paul quit taking insurance when he was practicing medicine so that he didn't have to cut through the red tape. So he just took cash, and he gave efficient service. And Ron Paul. I mean, it's so he gave a service he could be proud of at a price his patients could afford, and he negotiated directly with his patients. So still, that subsidization still would come. His richer clients would pay a little more, and his poorer clients would pay nothing or very little. And but it was a voluntary transaction. It wasn't. It didn't come out of your paycheck every month, and it cost. Maybe you'd go see Dr. Paul and have him deliver your baby, and it cost you $150 or $7,000. It just it was your choice to do it, but I didn't have to pay for you delivering. I'm never going to have a baby. Like I'm never going to get pregnant. It just in some things I trust the science, and I trust the science that I'm never going to get pregnant. So but I still have to pay for it. I still have to have it on. Government solutions to government problems. The government caused the problem. The government gave health care to the insurance companies inadvertently. That wasn't their goal. Their goal was to take over private industry and tell private employers what they could pay their employees. So by the time they realized this shit isn't working, and the Stabilization Acts were repealed, health insurance was the norm. It was an unintended consequence. Health insurance taking over healthcare was an unintended consequence of corporatism. At the time, really blatant fascism. And we've never looked back. We haven't changed. I'm going to go into this a lot more in detail first and put it up with all the history on it, like the roads, like the road story, with all the pertinent history. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting, but I did want to get into a lot of people don't know that. So now, when you're arguing with statists and they tell you who's going to build the roads, private industry, and when they say who got us into this healthcare mess, government, and who can get us out of it, the free market. The free market didn't cause a mess. There was no mess. Government created the mess, but the free market had already solved. There was nothing to solve. So, as we're moving forward, and we're having these debates that go on, and a lot of people, it's just important to know your history to know where you're going. It's important to follow that road, right? So, anyway, how about the elections last night? The Virginia governor's a Republican. He seems like a nice guy, doesn't he? I'm not a Republican. I love politics. I'm a junkie. But 100 libertarians won office in Pennsylvania. So that's pretty cool. People don't understand. All libertarians aren't anarchists, by the way. I am. And I want to abolish the government. But want to abolish the federal government, and I want the local government to be irrelevant. I want the tribalism, whatever you want to call it, but I want the local government to be something so insignificant that it doesn't ruin my life. You know, that it doesn't get in the way of the spontaneous order. That all it does is protect the natural rights of you and me. So when people like to say it's a hypocrisy for someone like me to run for office or to be involved in the game. And I see that argument, and I used to think that, but here's the truth. I was thinking about it. The system exists. I want to opt out. I want the system to not bother me. I want to be. I want to live in a voluntary society where I don't have to be harassed if I decide that I want to do something that doesn't hurt other people. Truth is, big government, little government, whatever, it doesn't really bother me that much anymore because I don't do too much. But I still want the freedom to do it. I want to be able to collect rainwater if I live out west. I don't want the government to fuck with me about it. I want to be, I want to be able to go fishing. I don't want to have to ask the government for permission to go fishing or to raise cattle or to do business with you, to sell milk or to buy milk or to milk my cow and drink the shit. I don't want any government bothering me about that. So my hardcore belief is that I don't want to vote in that system because that gives legitimacy to the system. But it doesn't. Voting in that system, running for office in that system, whatever, is not hypocrisy, because the system exists and they will aggress upon me, and I have to defend myself. And one of the ways for me to defend myself is to put someone who will represent me and my beliefs into those offices. So there's no one who can represent me as in the way I feel about things better than I can. So if I could put myself into an office that I believe should be eliminated, that's the person I want in that office. And I believe every office above mayor, county commissioner, should absolutely be eliminated. And I believe those offices of mayor and county commissioner and such would really have to justify themselves to exist. And I believe almost any position would have to, any sort of government would have to be voluntary and be unanimous. But I don't mind defending myself, and I don't find it hypocritical at all to be involved in it. So, but back to the elections last night and the Republican winning in Virginia. In New Jersey, man, how about New Jersey? He hasn't. Well, he's going to lose. Murphy's going to win New Jersey, but it's so. I mean, nobody thought it. I mean, I didn't. I thought it'd be like 20 points. So, what does that tell you, and what do they read into it? Here's what it says. It says that I'm watching these motherfuckers on CNN last night, acting like the sky is falling, trying to figure out how the Democrats lost. Racism, they blamed it on. Get this shit. Larry Elder is a black man. I've known of Larry Elder for many years. I knew of him my time in LA. Never cared much for Larry Elder. He used to call himself a libertarian. When I was a young libertarian, he had a fairly decent libertarian following in LA in those circles. And I realized, so I was like, oh, Larry Elder, cool. He's a libertarian. He's on the radio. There weren't a lot of us. And I would follow him. And as I listened to him and I read his work, I realized he wasn't libertarian at all. He was very Republican. And so I never had any love for the man, I realized real quick who he was, and I moved on. I never thought I'd hear about Larry Elder after I left LA, and except for just every now and again when I'd look at stuff. And then they had a recall election for Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom, all these COVID mandates, and then he all these mask mandates, and then he's out running around. You can't. He's going to close all the restaurants, and he goes to the French Laundry, the expensive restaurant. He's there without the mask on and all that, and like all the hypocrisy is the point. Like he says, and they make their servants. All the servants still wear masks. That's a weird fucking thing. That's so weird. I'll get to it. I got to sound, So they have a recall election, and Larry Elder somehow emerges as his opponent, a libertarian Republican in California. And there was a chance he was going to win. They were scared in California that Gavin Newsom, I think he's Nancy Pelosi's son-in-law, he's something, I don't know, maybe he fucks her. And there was a chance he was going to lose to Larry Elder. That tells you something. And you know what the media called Larry Elder? This black man? They called him a white supremacist. The black face of white supremacy. Okay. That's how come they said he was gonna. They were scared of him, and he had a chance to win in California because he was the black face of white supremacy. Well, anyway, there's that. So, fast forward to last night. And they said the reason that Virginia governor, you had that Terry McAuliffe, the former governor of Virginia, dancing on stage with Barack Obama and some other people I don't know, and they looked like this episode of Hee Haw. And he was swinging. It was the weirdest fucking thing, man. Actually, I think it wasn't Barack Obama. It was a bunch of white people and one black woman. And he looked like such a racist. I mean, that looked like a 1950s burn out the blacks dance that he looked. It was so weird. It looked like an episode of Hee Haw too, though. Anyway, and he said in that debate that parents shouldn't be able to tell teachers what to teach their kids. And then when anybody complained about it, he said it was a racist dog whistle. Whenever somebody uses the term racist dog whistle, they are a racist. There's no fucking dog whistle. There is no racist dog whistle. Like, people don't. This is 2021. And you know what? There wouldn't be if there hadn't been if you were allowed to talk and just say things, and you didn't have to protect certain races from being offended by jokes, you wouldn't have dog whistles anyway, because people would say who they are. You would be able to say who you are, and you would be able to know that guy over there is a racist, and I don't want to deal with that fucking racist. You would be able to just know. But because of cancel culture and censorship and wokeism and all this fucking bullshit, you can't. You have to really interpret what does he really mean by that. You know, if they do this, they claim all over TV that you're making racist symbols. But I remember I was watching an Elvis Presley documentary in 1972. Oh, I was watching it not in 1972. I wasn't born yet, but it's from 72. And maybe it wasn't, I don't know. Anyway, he walked by and he goes, "Man, that girl last night, she did the best here. The best." And so me and my friends, after a good night, we always go, "The best." Never had anything to do with racism. But now somebody gets the okay sign on TV, they're racist. They're giving us a racist dog whistle. It's not, but quit fucking with people. Just let people be who they are, and you'll know who you're dealing with. You can choose to deal with them or not deal with them. Anyway, so I'm watching CNN last night, and and this is what's going on in the world right now. In Long Beach, there are ships lined up. You can walk across the water like it's a floor for miles on out to sea because the supply chain's broken. 1 year ago, gas was under $2 a gallon. Now it's $3.50 a gallon. Joe Biden comes on TV and tells everybody, even though we can't get our goods, and even though the prices of everything are skyrocketing, even though the value of the dollar is plummeting, we're going to fire everybody if they don't take our vaccine to not prevent the spread of a virus that doesn't hurt anybody who is healthy anyway. And then you've got this guy agreeing with it and saying that parents shouldn't be able to question what their kids are taught in school. And they can't figure out why the fuck they lost? Who couldn't beat that? Man, if you got any money at all and you just can get some camera time, you can beat that. And they beat it. And that's why, Murphy, the other one I was talking about, the New Jersey one. Hell, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. You assume that was going to be a 20-point win, right? And then that other guy, the guy he's running against, he's really a Democrat too, but it's the Northeast, and they're so fucking weird up there. I don't understand how they vote for these people, man. But anyway, they read it. They read it completely wrong. So the Democrats are blaming it on racism, and they're saying that everybody's racist. Everybody's racist in Virginia, and that's why they voted for that one white guy over that other white guy. It's because they're racist. And the other thing they're saying is, if they had passed this massive spending bill, maybe he wouldn't have lost. And they're saying, what they're trying to say is they need to Democrat harder, and they'll win elections. They think that they won that first election. I don't want to not steal what they think they beat Donald Trump because for some reason besides people hate Donald Trump. Joe Biden wouldn't have won an election against anybody else. Donald Trump lost because he had the media up against him. He had people just hate him anyway because of his big personality. There was no mandate Joe Biden was given. Like, Joe Biden ran on gumming ice cream and going to bed at 5:30, and he promised to end the vaccine. That's just stupid though. You shouldn't blame the vaccine not ending on Joe Biden. Not vaccine. I can't talk. I'm still got the flu. The virus. He blamed. Said he was going to end the virus. How's Joe Biden going to end the virus? And people blame the virus on Donald Trump last. It's crazy as shit. Now, anyway. So they thought that was some kind of mandate. No, it was no mandate. They didn't win. He didn't win because he was a Democrat. He won because his opponent was Donald Trump. And then they try to do all this crazy shit. They're trying to do everything. And then the world's in chaos, falling apart. The whole world's falling apart. And they think that they didn't win because they didn't tear it apart faster and bigger, with a prettier fire. And then the Republicans, of course, they misread everything too. Instead of saying, you know what? People don't want to be governed so fucking hard. Maybe we won and we just need to pull back. They're like, this is a mandate on the police. People voted for all the shit they did right, and the Democrats are losing because they want to defund the police. So the Democrats thought they lost because they didn't make a bigger government, and the Republicans think they won because the Democrats wanted to take away the government enforcers. People just don't want to be fucked with. It's not racism. It's not because we want our dollar to buy less things, for God's sake. And it's not because we want the cops to harass us every time we step out of our house.